Jasdev Rai from Sikh Human Rights Group.
Having been involved in this process in the 1990s and only recently acquired consultative status, it gives us great satisfaction in attending this session and noting the progress that has been made from the mid-1990s when only a voluntary code was being entertained. Before homing into the agenda, perhaps it may be worth considering first principles. The word human rights has become as passionate these days, mostly in Western civilization and UN, as the word due was once in Western civilization about 3 centuries ago. Critique almost attracts sanction. Let us not forget that human rights rose closely in relation to the Hobbesian idea of the coercive state, which has monopoly of violence and is the basis of the modern sovereign state. TNCs are not, as a matter of fact, instituted as coercive entities and do not have the institution of coercion such as police and armed forces. They are in the business of making money and by virtue of that create considerable imbalances, indirect violations of human rights such as environmental damage, gender inequality, poverty, etc. Where they do violate human rights, they often use the host state either as active or passive conspirator. Perhaps there is a context of indirect human rights violations and, more importantly, social and moral obligations that TNCs have to be held accountable to. In relation to this agenda, the issue of access to justice and effective remedy is a generic concept of justice that could apply as much to a powerful TNC as to a powerful politician or a feudal individual. The list of recommendations are welcome, however, it's not clear why a specific list is needed in relation to TNCs. There is a tendency in the UN to cut and paste repetitive instruments everywhere. Perhaps what is needed is to recognize the indirect effects of TNCs within the territory of operations and across territories that have to be codified and which civil society feel aggrieved about. There is a need to institute remedies against these derogations of responsibility of moral principles and remedies against indirect effects. Perhaps the field of law needs to broaden and not lump everything within human rights, but also look at issues of responsibility and obligations. Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.